Hi, this is Deborah from dinglefoot.com, and this week I'm going to show you how to make a wedding card, or this could also be used for birthdays or about anything you want to. So it's kind of a special occasion card. And for the background I have a dark brown piece of cardstock, and this is A4 size. It's 8.5 by 5.5. And I have a couple pieces that are going to go on the front. So this card has a lot of layers. I have a piece of beige cardstock, and this is just going to be cut big enough to give just a nice little defined edge around it of the brown. And then our next piece is going to give us about 1/8 of an inch the whole way around your card. And then this piece is even smaller. And you can see how it kind of fits right in that spot. So just go by your judgment by what you want your card to look like. And my first for inside, I just printed it right on my cardstock, and I'll show you how that fits in here. It takes up most of the space inside your card. So I have those, and then I also have this butterfly die cut, and I actually made this on the Picturesque die cut with my Cricut. So I made a dark brown background and the cream colored top on it, and I'm going to be using Glimmer Mist for that, for my top layer. I also have pearls, and I have dark brown ink, and I have a piece of thin ribbon. This is about maybe 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch ribbon, so I have thin ribbon. And then if you remember last week, I showed you how to tie a double bow, and I'll put a link at the bottom if you don't know how to do that. So I have a ribbon for my card. So we're going to go ahead and start with the wet things, the Glimmer Mist and the ink. First of all, I'm going to take this fancy piece of cardstock. I used a pearl cardstock. I'll show you how it goes on my card again, just to show you which one it is. It's this third layer right here. And I'm going to take my brown ink, and I tried to get a really dark brown ink like the base of my card, and I'm just going to take it, and we're just going to carefully go around the edge just so that we have a nice defined edge on our cardstock. Just set it out from the background. So we're going to go right around that, and I'm going to set that aside to dry. And then while that's drying, I'm going to take my cream layer for my butterfly, move these things out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to use Iridescent Gold Glimmer Mist, and I'm going to wet this down really well. I want this to be really shiny, so I'm not going to worry about making a mess here. I'm just going to wet it so it's really, really soaked and well covered. And then I'm going to turn off my video for a minute, and I'm going to take my heat tool and dry it. This is something you could leave it for quite a while to dry, but you can also dry it with your heat tool to save you time. Okay, so if you can see my butterfly, it has a nice golden sheen to it now, and I'm going to take it and just fold the wings up. So I want the body to have a nice fold like this, and this is just going to get glued on our brown background of our butterfly. So I'm just going to glue right in the middle, and I just want this to be able to have its wings sticking up. Okay, so it's going to have a nice little 3D effect for our card. And I'm going to go ahead and set that aside, and we'll start putting the layers of our card together. Okay, I'm going to go ahead, I'm using a permanent glue stick, and I'm just going to start putting the layers of my card together. Okay, so make sure that's covered really well. So the first layer is my beige piece here. Okay, and then I'm going to put on the pearl pattern paper that I put the brown ink on around the edges. So that's next. And then for the third layer, we're going to add another little step to it. that's going to make our card look really elegant and nice for a special occasion. So get this on here. Okay. And I'm going to set that aside and just grab this smaller layer, and this is also the same pattern that I used for this one, but we're going to make it so that it shows very nicely on the front of that card. And the way we're going to do that is to take this thin ribbon that I showed you at the beginning, and I'm actually going to use an adhesive tape here, so I'm just going to put a little on the corner. I'm going to take a piece of ribbon, and I'm just going to lay this just so that the top of the ribbon goes right over the corner of my paper. Okay, so you can see it's stuck there with that adhesive, and I'm going to turn it over and put some more adhesive on the back. And all I'm going to do is take my ribbon and fold it over, and take this part and fold it over too. And then you can see that we have this beautiful little corner on our card. So I'm going to grab my scissors and snip that off, and I'm going to continue doing the rest of the edges. Okay, so I have my edges done with my ribbon, and then I'm going to take my little strips of pearls, and I'm just going to pull off one for each corner. So you could also use brads or jewels, stickers, or whatever you have, but this just has a nice, elegant look to it. So just one for each. Okay, so I'm going to actually use Zots to put this on the front of my card because I do want it to stand out from this layer that's the same, and it does with the corners, but I want to pop it up even more. And you don't have to do this step. This is just something I like to do, so I'm just going to put some Zots on it, and then it'll have a little more definition just because it's sticking up a tiny bit from the background. And I do like to put it on the tops of those ribbons just to provide a little bit of extra security. Okay. So this is going to go right on the front. Put it this way. There we go. And I'm going to do the inside now before I finish the outside. So we have this much, and this is going to go on the inside, but before I put it in, I'm going to do the same thing as I did with this layer. I'm going to put the little bits of ribbon on the edge and a pearl. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll be right back. Alright, so the inside of my card is finished, and I just need to glue that in there. Okay. And then we're just going to quickly finish the outside. Okay, so if you can see, it just looks really nice and elegant for the inside there. I'm going to take my bow. This is a card that doesn't really fit well inside of an envelope because of the thickness of the bow. And what I did when I used it for a wedding package is I actually just attached the card right to the outside of the package. I put two of these, I'll show you in a second here. these photo corners, they have a sticky back on them. I just stuck this right to the wrapping paper, one on each side here, and just slid my card right in there, and it was attached to the front of the package. So that worked out really well. And then I put a little handmade flower above the card. But this bow here, I'm just going to use hot glue. You can use whatever works for you, but the hot glue is nice and fast. And I'm just going to place my bow right on the outside there. And then my butterfly, I could just use hot glue for that too. Put some in the middle and a little bit on each of the sides of the wings. I'm just going to stick that right there. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my strip of pearls here, and I'm going to put a center right in my butterfly. Okay, so pull off the extra there, and we have a beautiful, elegant card. And you can put a little greeting down here if you want to stamp or put a sticker on it, and that would work great. Thanks so much for watching.